Hello, folks. My name is Don. I had a customer call me just a few minutes ago and ask me if they could get out of a contract. They had signed a contract. They were thinking about buying a house. Had signed a contract, and some things had come up with their situation, and they wondered if they could just back out of it, if they could get out of it. I asked them if everybody had signed the contract, and they said actually no, that only they had signed the contract. And I realized at that time that there was not everybody knew that there was a little difference between an offer and a contract. So if you're in that situation and you wonder what goes through making an offer into a contract, then hang on. I'm going to try to explain that and make it very simple and very basic. If you like to be a part of more tips on selling your house yourself, then subscribe to this YouTube channel. That is basically what we do. We help for sale by owners sell their house. So there's a little square over here, a little red square you can click on that'll subscribe you to this channel. I would appreciate it. Any questions you got, just write them down below. I promise I'll get to them just ASAP. A contract starts out as an offer. Contract versus offer. An offer is when somebody sits down and has an idea and says, I want to buy something or I want to do something. So here are the terms under which I will do this, under which I will buy this. Here's the amount that I'll pay, whatever. It's an idea. It's an idea, generally an idea on paper. When and only when that is accepted by the other side, the other principal in this transaction, uh, only at that point does it become a contract. It starts out as an offer. It will go to the seller, and the seller may accept it, or they may flat reject it, or they may counter offer. But there may be some give and take. When it's finally decided and everybody is happy with the terms set out on this piece of paper, then everybody signs it and it becomes a contract. It's not a contract until everybody is happy. A contract can be defined as a meeting of the minds. A meeting of the minds that is evident by being written on usually a piece of paper. A contract can be written on a grocery sack. A contract can be written probably just about anywhere. It's generally done on paper, but as long as it's written and as long as it's signed by both buyer and seller, then it is a contract. It can be passed on to a closing company who can close the transaction. Even if everybody gets hit by a bus, which of course would render it a goofy situation, but the closing attorney would still have enough instructions on that contract to close the transaction if anybody wanted to close the transaction. So the meeting of the minds becomes a bound contract. A bound contract carries with it consequences. If my friend had wanted to pull out of a bound contract, then they are going to have to jump through another hoop or two. They're going to have to explain why they have to get out of that contract. Sometimes when we're buying a house, we put contingencies on our contract, contingent on an inspection or contingent on an appraisal. And if those contingencies are not met, then it comes apart at the seams and it's no longer a contract. It's no longer enforceable. So that is a condition of the contract that has to be met. But if a contract doesn't have any conditions like that on it, or for whatever reason, one side or the other just does not adhere to the contract conditions at all, then there are remedies to the remaining party. If I were selling my house and somebody said, well, I'm going to buy your house, and then they said, well, I'm not, and they had no good reason, then I have a couple of remedies. One would be called specific performance. I could sue them for specific performance, which makes them adhere to the conditions set forth in that contract. Specifically, they would have to do what they said they were going to do according to that contract. And then I may or may not have damages that are involved with their failing to meet the conditions of that contract. So, contracts are serious things, and you don't just back out of them for no reason. You have to have a good, provable reason to back out of a contract, because when you enter into a contract, and you might refer to another video we had on earnest money, you're pledging your good faith that you're going to complete that transaction, that you're going to do what that contract says you're going to do. So it's a serious thing. It starts out as an offer, it may become a counteroffer, but eventually it becomes a contract. And a contract is for a specific period of time, and it has to be culminated and closed at the time that's specified on the contract. And then the property transfers. And that's it. The property is transferred, and there is no more a contract out there to worry with. That is a quick nutshell of the difference between a contract and an offer. Hope it helped you. If you are interested in learning more and picking up other tips about selling your house, whether it's for sale by owner or whether it is through an agent or whatever, please feel free to subscribe to this video channel. That's what we're all about. I thank you for your time.